Okay, if I can, excuse me, if I can have your attention, please. Jeff Gordon has joined us. Jeff drives the number 24, Exalta Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports, and certainly Jeff coming off a big win last weekend at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I think certainly we're all still feeling the effects of that. Congratulations on that. That's one I'm sure that you'll cherish for a long, long time. But now we come to Pocono. You've won here before at Pocono, obviously. And as we get six more to go before we set that chase grid, I'm sure you're after more wins. But just talk about maybe the momentum now that this 24 team has. We heard Alan Gustafson on the teleconference this week speak to that as well. So maybe talk about that as we approach the real stretch run before we get to the chase.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big win. We all know that. And, you know, when you win at Indianapolis, especially having the kind of year that we're having where we're up front, you know, in the points, it's a huge momentum boost and confidence booster. And you know, I mean, it's been an amazing week. So feeling really good. Of course, the unique thing about our schedule is it's every week. You head straight back to a racetrack and got to do it all over again. And you know, that's the thing. All that was wonderful and couldn't have been better. I mean, we had an event at Hendrick Motorsports that was already in the plans for Rick's 65th birthday, 30th anniversary of Hendrick Motorsports, and just a luncheon that was already planned. So then, you know, to be able to celebrate the Brickyard 400 win on top of that just made for an amazing week. And yet we get here and it's back to business. And, yeah, you know, we're certainly going back to business with a different mindset of what we're capable of doing as a team and what cars we're bringing to the racetrack and things like that. And, you know, this is Pocono. It's similar to Indianapolis, but it's unique and different enough as well. You know, we've had to work today pretty hard to try to get, you know, some more speed out of the car.
Questions for Jeff Gordon. What do you have? Had one? Raise your hand, please. Got your mic? Zach, we could bring the mic down this way, please. Thank you.
Woody Kane with MRN. Jeff, just want to look ahead a little bit to Watkins Glen with the road course racing coming up. Everything seems so much different now than it did 3, 5, 10 years ago. When you're in the middle of that, I mean, does it feel like the new short track to you now? I mean, is elbows up all the time as opposed to just get through it? I mean, you've always been a good road racer, but just the general feel of it, and especially with Watkins Glen. Yeah,
you know, to me, just like what and track that we go to, especially the short tracks and the road courses, and you know, all that excitement that you see that's really kicked in on the road courses is primarily due to double file restarts, because you know you don't have these long sweeping corners, so you have to outbrake one another, so you can really run side by side through the first several corners. And everybody's jockeying for position, and you go through a right-hand turn, and the inside car maybe has an left-hand turn, and then it flips, you know, where is the advantage. And track position being so important, you're just battling it out on those restarts, and makes for a lot of contact and a lot of excitement. And you know, that seems to certainly be the case at Watkins Glen, as fast as of a road course as that track is as well.
Zachary, right there behind you. Is it Tyler? Kyle, I'm sorry. Kyle, and then Tyler, and then Nate.
Jeff, Kyle Magda for the Times leader. Of course, with the win last week in Indianapolis, and also passing your teammate Casey Kane, who had a really good run. I mean, has the 5 and 24 shop really starting to break through this time of the year?
I mean, we've had a pretty solid season in general, and you know, the 5 car has had their struggles, but I was really happy to see how strong his car was last week. I mean, I thought that we both, you know, had the cars, you know, to beat there at the race. So, you know, we all want to see them get a win and get themselves in this chase to get all 400 cars in the chase, and certainly had a great shot at that, especially if that caution hadn't come out. and he passed me for the win here last year. So I looked at, and he looked good in practice. I looked for them to be really strong. So, I think the thing that I love about Hendrick Motorsports and the way our teams are situated and how they work together is you were constantly battling against one another from a competitive standpoint, but working together as a team as well. And it just elevates up the whole organization. So when one team starts to do something well, we can lean on that information and hopefully see the results as well. And that's what we're all, whether it be Junior, and their team getting off to a good start, Jimmy really getting on a run there, our team doing well, our Casey's team, stepping up. But they've needed to not only run a little bit better, but they've needed to have some things go their way, and it does look like they've started to turn that corner to put themselves in position to get that win.
And Jeff, was there anything that you could have taken from last week to Indianapolis to apply this week at Pocono?
I mean, as I mentioned earlier, there are some similarities. I mean, the tunnel turn is a lot like the turns that we have at Indianapolis, but the other two are quite a bit different. So we take something that we learn from every track we go to and try to apply it. And I think we've applied some of those things this weekend that should work well. I'm curious to see how qualifying goes. I thought we put down a really good lap there at the end of practice, but yet the time wasn't high enough up there, in my opinion. So either we're a little bit behind, or the time of day that those guys made those fast lap times were enough of a difference that we'll hopefully see it work out in qualifying. But we had a pretty awesome race car last week, and I like that track. So it would be nice to be able to see those same types of results this weekend, but we won't know until we get out there for qualifying in the race on Sunday.
Let's go to Tyler. We'll go to Al and then Nate. Tyler, Al, and Nate.
Hey, Jeff. Tyler Burnett, MRN. You've been involved with the Knoxville Nationals for 3-4 years now with the kickball game and the go-kart race that you have over there. You've also sponsored Shane Stewart's car in that as well. How big is that event to an average NASCAR fan who doesn't know much about sprint car racing and stuff like that? How big is that event, and are you looking forward to getting over there for that?
I can't wait. I love going to Knoxville. Knoxville's always been special to me, whether you go way back to when I was driving and got a chance to race in a couple Knoxville. Only made one Knoxville Nationals, but competed in a few of them for the weekend. But I love it. I'm so thrilled that our Kick It program has really taken off in that series. They've just embraced it, and their schedule works out to be able to get drivers involved, the community's involved, and raise a lot of money for pediatric cancer. So, and have fun playing a kickball tournament. So, Knoxville's a big weekend for us. And we've got some marketing dollars that we put into it, which happens to go on Shane Stewart's car. He's a great spokesperson for us, and allows me the opportunity to go and enjoy Knoxville Nationals at least on Wednesday. And thankfully they race Wednesday through Sunday. Because otherwise I wouldn't get to do it other than watching on TV. But it's such a huge event. I mean, it's a lot like a big NASCAR event where people are camping out. The whole town is just taken over by race fans, and people that are big sprint car, dirt track fans. They're very avid and loyal, and to them nothing's better. And it's hard to complain or to argue against that. The dirt track racing there is amazing. So I certainly love it, and enjoy the opportunity to go there every year. We got a heck of a go-kart event this year. Tony Stewart, Kyle Larson, Casey Kane, and me. No, I think I finished second last year. I'm sure I got beat by Kyle Larson. I'm almost positive. But, no, we did pretty well last year. But that was Tony had gotten hurt, so it's great to be able to have him this year. And I don't know if Casey competed in it last year, so it's and I don't know what other sprint car drivers might come out to do it, but it's certainly a lot of fun. They're sprint cars with wings on them on this little go-kart track. They throw, I don't know, baby powder down on it, and all of a sudden we're just sliding around everywhere.
Let's go with Al Pierce. Let's go with Nate and then Kelly. Al, Nate, Kelly.
Jeff, Al Pierce from Auto Week. Thank you for bringing up Kyle Larson's name. That leads into my question. I know that drivers hate to talk about other drivers, but you were Rookie of the Year 20-some years ago. You've seen them all come and go. Which of the two rookies right now, Larson and Dillon, do you think might be the Rookie of the Year?
Well, I said it before the season started, and I'll say it now. I mean, I think Austin's great, but Kyle Larson is he's a special individual that only talent like that comes along every so often. And because I am a huge fan of sprint cars and came from that background, to see what he's done in a sprint car at such a young age and to make it into the Cup Series at such a young age, and to me he's been pretty spectacular. But I mean, they're both great, both certainly very capable of it. But if I had to pick one, I would definitely pick Kyle.
Let's go to Nate. Let's go to Kelly, and then Bob Margolis. Nate, Kelly, Bob Margolis.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Jeff, with the penalty of the 11 car and the suspension of Darian Grubb, there's been a lot of chatter this week about how impactful a crew chief suspension is. There's one school of thought that it might not be as much of a detriment as in the past. And I know when you and Jimmy lost Canals and Letarte for a few races during the middle of 2007, you guys still were far and away the best two cars in the chase. So I was just wondering, how much of an impact do you think losing a crew chief to a suspension has on a team these days?
I think it depends on your communication, and just the overall team morale. But the quality of the cars doesn't go away. That they're working on those things at the shop. In some ways, might be able to spend a little more time at the shop preparing those cars. And thinking about things outside the box. And I think if you have a lot of depth within your team, then I don't think it's as big of an impact. But with the chase format the way it is this year, I couldn't imagine going through those 10 races without Alan, calling the shots. And you build this special, relationship and line of communication with your crew chief. You're talking to them throughout the week. You're talking to them on the radio. You're talking to them on the weekends, and it would be strange and awkward to be doing that with someone, other than Alan for me, especially in such crucial races in the chase. So I think it's impactful, but I don't think it means you can't win races or win the championship for a short period of time without him.
Let's go with Kelly, Bob Margolis, and then Marty Smith. Go ahead, Kelly.
Kelly Crandall from Popular Speed. Jeff, if there's anybody who knows about Ray Evernham's work at Hendrick, it's you. So I'm just curious, with his return, he's kind of opened up more of a line of communication in terms of he's able to overlook everything and kind of point things out that maybe the teams don't see. Casey said it's more about, his confidence when he worked with the 5 team. So him being in the 5 and 24 shop, what have you noticed that he's brought back to the company?
Yeah, I mean, Ray's just one of those guys that when you put him on a project, he knows how to attack it and get results. And so the whole key to me to have him be impactful is how he came and sat down with the crew chiefs and the engineers and the people within Hendrick and explained to them what his goal was. His goal was to try to take on some projects that they felt like were important, but maybe they didn't have the time to do it and needed somebody with his sort of expertise to take on those challenges. And I think that the first couple of things that they suggested to him, I think he did a great job with it and gave him good results very fast. And it built confidence everybody had in him. And I think some people are intimidated by him, being the crew chief for that 24 car and all the success that we had. I think when Ray comes in, they're like, what's his real role here? What what kind of position is he taking? And I think he really made everybody feel comfortable when he made them understand, hey, I'm just here to help and be a part of this organization again. And Rick's asked me to do this, and this, and it's been great having him back. We've always had good chemistry. He's a longtime friend of mine, and I think he's a super smart guy. So it's always good to have somebody like that on your side.
Okay, let's go to Bob. Raise your hand, Bob, right here. And we're on a little bit of a deadline here, so we'll go Bob, Marty, and then with Scott.
Bob Margolis, Bleacher Report. Hey, Jeff, your win at the Brickyard was big for the sport. It made mainstream sports editors pay attention to the sport again. What's your awareness of now that you're really one of the few drivers in the sport who can do that, who can draw that kind of attention from sports editors and sports readers all across the country? What's your awareness of your place in the sport? Excuse me. And, should you go on and do real well in the chase and win the title, the impression that'll make upon the rest of the world about the sport?
Yeah, I'm not that aware of it. I'm really just, I feel like I've kind of been out of that for the last several years, maybe building respect among competitors and those that follow the sport. Because of the history that I have and the success I've had in the past, but it's been a while since we've won a big event, and so to me, my awareness is purely just how it impacts our team, and my family and me personally. I'm one that I don't. When things are not going well, I don't try to get too involved in things that are being written or said. Hard not to with social media these days because the way we like to interact with our fans. But the flip side of that is when things are really being written that are good and positive, I'm probably not seeing as much of it either. So I think that's just what allows me to focus on doing my job. It's great to hear those things, and I appreciate that. And I think we all hope that our role in the sport is contributing to make the sport better. And I think we all recognize that there are names and faces that make a bigger impact than others at times. And I think that we all recognize that whatever's good for the sport, we support it, as long as the love is being spread around. We don't want the sport to just grow to all new heights and we're sitting there at the bottom. We all want to contribute and be a part of it and be successful. And you hope that that plays a role in the sport's success as well. And that's about as much as I really want to be aware of it at this point in my career, anyway.
Marty Smith, and then end with Scott. Go ahead, Marty.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Jeff, we all saw your immediate emotion last week and your reaction to winning while we were at Indy. But as you've progressed through this week, I wonder if there was something that you've learned about that moment that you didn't realize in the moment as you progressed through this week, emotion-wise or details-wise? We happen to have a birthday party for Leo this week, so I got a chance to be around a lot of family and friends, and you just you just sort of, when you haven't won a big race like that in a while, you win it, you're in such disbelief. It takes a couple of days for it to sink in as to how much you respect and appreciate and how you just don't take it for granted, those types of moments and days. And I just, I think for me it was, just a great week to reminisce with all my friends and family who either watched on TV or were there in person. And you can't take, those are the greatest moments that as a race car driver or competitor that you can go through. And so, I just feel fortunate that not only did we win, but the event I told you about at Hendrick, to be able to go there and have the whole organization, patting you on the back, saying thank you, shaking your hand, to get that opportunity, and then to have the birthday party where you're around your closest friends and family to have those same kinds of conversations. doesn't get much better than that. So I think that's the biggest thing is just being able to try to take in as much of it as you possibly can of how much you appreciate it and enjoyed that moment.
Final question right here.
Scott Walsh from the Scranton Times-Tribune. Jeff, you had the back issues earlier this year at Charlotte. Have they flared up at all? During the course of the season since then. And now that you've got 90 career wins, have you looked ahead to maybe possibly hitting that magic
91?
century?
Yeah, I'm looking to try to get to 91. The back, I don't think it's ever going to be the same after what happened in Charlotte. I don't know what exactly transpired there, but it's not the same, and I have to be much more careful. I'm just having to treat it, more and ice and stem and be more careful, more stretching. And is it going to flare up again? It could, but I'm just trying to be more cautious. The things that I do that I felt like contribute to that, but yeah, it's not great. That's for sure. No, you can't think about 100 until you get to 99. It's the last time I checked. So I'm pretty excited to be at 90, and I'm enjoying 90. I hope we can get to 91.
Jeff, thank you very much.
You.
Good luck this weekend. Thank you.